Okay, folks, thanks for clicking on this video. New Comic Book Day has been and gone for June 25th, or 25th of June, where I come from. And I've only read 8 books this week, a few I couldn't get hold of, but here, allow me to talk about them for your viewing pleasure. I've got 3 indie books to begin with, and they're all number ones. There's number ones every week. You might as well check them out while you can. The first one I did read this week was News from the Fallout. It was written by Chris Condon with art by Jeffrey Love. Don't know who Jeffrey is. Chris Condon, I believe, is that Texas Blood, the Enfield Gang Massacre. There's 1 or 2 other things in amongst there, I'm sure. So this has come from Image Comics. This is a military horror of sorts. These trips, they're lined up for like nuclear testing. They complain they're too close to the bomb site, but like their generals, their corporals or captains, whatever it is, they don't care. So nevertheless, they fall in line and they line up for this nuclear bomb testing. The bombs are dropped. The soldiers are surrounded by the ash, called the red snow, and things start to turn. The shit hits the fan. They turn into these weird vampire style monsters, go a bit crazy, go a bit deformed, try killing one another. There is one of the soldiers smartly has a gas mask and he flees in the car and they chase after him and he goes to this nearby diner, and it ends with the need to board up the windows and the doors because they're coming. It's a very quick read. The chase scene that I mentioned there, just it continues for quite a few pages with no narration, no dialogue. The art kind of reminds me of like a grey scale, nice house on the lake. Bit messy, bit strange. You know, there's a lot of scenes where people who are wearing glasses, you can see all black and grey, and then there's their white eyes and stuff. But this issue has left me really intrigued. I'll definitely read on. I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I've read quite a few of Chris Condon, which I like, so I faith in him to see where it goes. I will certainly check out issue number 2. And for a wee bit of nostalgia, VR Troopers released a number 1, and I don't know if this has been a thing before, but I thought number 1, VR Troopers, I remember them as a kid. They had a really great kind of theme tune. It was like, we are VR Troopers. And yeah, so I just got into it for the nostalgia purposes. Writer is Mairead Scott and art by Sebastian Perez. Not familiar with any of their work at all. So this issue doesn't start with any kind of origin. You go straight into it, which makes me question, was there previous runs of this beforehand? So Ryan is the main character. He's the one who, from the show when you were a kid, his dad was dead or missing, and certainly question marks of what happened to him. He can't sleep at night. Ryan goes for a run and of course encounters like a break-in at the local kind of power plant. But it's not a normal break-in, of course. It's some sort of super powered cloak, mysterious figurehead, and he's holding hostages. Why? I don't know. And this issue doesn't explain why. But this guy who's holding the hostages, we'll find out he's able to use the troopers, the VR troopers, what they're called troopers, their fertilizer, which is like their morpher. But then we later find out that the only people who could use this fertilizer are people with the same DNA. So is this like his dad, or is this like, I know, a different multiverse version of Ryan who can use this fertilizer? That's what we're dealing with. Some multi-reality drama. I went into this with a bit of nostalgia. Didn't really quite get that. It felt rushed. It didn't keep me engaged at all, to be brutally honest. Everything just fell into place, like with no real reason. Like, why? What's the hostages? Who's this guy? All the rest of it. The art was clunky. Is the right way to describe it? Like the art when the troopers had their fight scene, the suits looked dreadful compared to the cover, which I thought is what we were getting, which looked kind of kick ass. That they don't like this, look like that in the interiors. So yeah, shame. Overall, not bad issue, but it's not enough to keep me going. It didn't fulfill that need for nostalgia, and I'll not read on, but I don't think I'll be missing out on too much. Another massive nostalgia read was Biker Mice from Mars? Biker Mice from Mars, #1, brought to you by Oni Press. The writer is Melissa Flores and art by Daniel Gete. I think Melissa Flores might have been involved in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers at some point. So that kind of makes me think that she's kind of okay at handling these kind of IPs that kind of we are nostalgic for. The difference between VR Troopers and this is this did a decent enough job. It gave me a little bit more of that nostalgia. It's cool to see the characters on the page again, but I didn't get that nostalgia that I was expecting from it. It starts with a battle scene. You got the Plutarchians trying to control the population, and then the Bigger Mice from Mars are like the lawless rebels. Again, none of this is explained, or there's no kind of backstory. You're just kind of going into it, and that's fine. I can't remember the cartoon too much now that I've read this. I'm thinking, were they involved in the previous, or were they involved in the show? Can't remember. Either way, the fish people, which are like the Plutarchians, they kind of retreat in any way, and they then a nearby volcano erupts, and everyone thinks it's like a natural disaster. The Bigger Mice from Mars go in and try and save people, blah blah blah, and it turns out that it was never a natural cause. It was triggered by these fish people, and yeah, the art, to be fair, was really good. Really enjoyed it. It suited the theme, so the tone, storytelling was okay, but it didn't give me that nostalgia kick I was expecting. I'll maybe check out issue 2, but that depends if it comes out on a heavy week of comic books. So it's an okay. Not great. Okay. Moving on to some Marvel titles. The Thing, issue #2. This is written by Tony Flex, and art by Justin Mason. So previously, Ben Grimm was visited by his old friend, not even a friend, a bully, called Marty Flynn. And Marty's niece has gone missing, been kidnapped, she's disappeared. Ben doesn't help for the sake of this guy Marty. He's like, he remembers his sister, and his sister was nice to me, and obviously her daughter is missing. He's wanting to help. It all seems to be overlooked by Kingpin somehow. He's kind of the reveal, issue #1. So leading into this issue, you have Kingpin question why the Fantastic Four are sniffing around his operation, and he sends in Bullseye to kind of stop him, slow him down. So you have a bit of a battle with Bullseye. Ben Grimm disposes of him, and investigates, leads on to some sort of warehouse in the docks, of course, where something's going down, you know. And Ben Grimm kind of encounters the Hammerhead. In this issue, you have Ben Grimm, typical kind of, he's grouchy and grumpy and all the rest of it, but he's a heart of gold. There's a reason why the Thing is the most lovable, popular member of the Fantastic Four team. The Heart of Gold. I can't leave this be. He needs to find this girl. The art is rather splendid, but overall, this issue won't change your life. It's good. It's fun. Bit of drama, bit of action. I'll definitely continue on, but I want to see where it leads to. I think the Kingpin is one of the main reasons that I'm sticking to it. Speaking of the Kingpin, he's also prominent in the next run we're going to talk about, and that is Ultimate Spider-Man, issue #18, written by Jonathan Hickman with art by Marco Checchetto, who's fantastic. If you read the Daredevil run, previously Craven had held Peter Parker and Harry Osborn hostage for a hunt that led to the death of Harry Osborn, the Green Goblin, by the way, in this universe. Peter's obviously distraught. He flees with his family, and he's obviously thinking that Harry's dead. In the previous issue, it was revealed that Harry didn't die. He was actually saved by his wife, Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy is part of this kind of cult, this kind of cabal of Mysterios, and they're kind of brewing something. They're calling the shots for some reason behind the scenes. So like I say, Harry revealed himself in this issue, so we're kicking on from there. Peter Parker's son Richard, I think a teenager, 14, 15, he has this use of a Picotech suit, which I think is the Ultimate Universe version of the black suit, like the Venom suit, because it has like its own kind of AI So whenever Richard's wearing the suit, he can talk to the AI and all the rest of it. Transpires that he has a relationship with the Black Cat and their boyfriend-girlfriend. The Black Cat's 16 in this. She's not the same age as Peter Parker. This issue, Peter and Harry are going back home to fight some crime, to deal with the Kingpin, to sort all that out. But Richard jumps in the plane with them, stealth mode, doesn't get caught, because he thinks his girlfriend, Black Cat, is in danger after she texts him. So it's all big drama, bit of fighty, and then it ends with Richard Parker trying to save Black Cat, but being surrounded by Kingpin and his goon. Overall, the Ultimate Spider-Man book has actually been very good. This issue, it's not going to blow your mind, but the storyline is brewing along nicely. This is what I want the main Amazing Spider-Man book to be. If this is the lull in Ultimate Spider-Man, it's better than what the Amazing Spider-Man has to offer. The artwork is exactly what I would love to see as well in the main book. Marco Cicchetto is fantastic. Really enjoying this run. Long may it continue. On to DC now, and I read the new history of the DC universe, written by Mark Waid with art by Todd Nook. I didn't know what to expect. It seemed like there was no real story. It was just introducing a character, bit of narration, talk about that character, move on to the next. It's all narrated by Barry Allen, which makes sense because he even said himself, "I've saw more of the multiverse, past, present, and future." So if someone's going to narrate the history of the DC universe, it's going to be Barry Allen. So you have everyone from Perpetua, the New Gods, the Dreaming, Ra's al Ghul, Wonder Woman, the Amazons, and a whole plethora, whole host of characters I've never heard of. The art was great. There's a lot of detail, a lot of that kind of montage-y style splash pages, putting a lot of characters into the page. Story-wise, I get it. It's cool to read. It's cool to know the history, but I'm almost questioning the point. Is this going to lead on to some sort of overarching storyline? Is the DC universe in danger? Probably. From who? Interesting enough, I will read on. It kind of ended with alluding to the next portion of the book is going to be Krypton, and we'll see where it goes. Absolute Wonder Woman number 9, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Hayden Sherman. So in the previous issue, Wonder Woman encountered Dr. Poison, which is like a doctor who's like just made from poisonous gases, and she wears this kind of World War II, like a deep sea suit to keep the poison in. She gives her the location of a maze or a prison, where there may be another Amazon being held there. So obviously Wonder Woman Diana's intrigued because she thought she was the last Amazon, so she needs to go there to find out what happened. Does she need to save it? Is it her sister? Whatever, blah, blah, blah. She does this knowing that it's likely to be a trap. Someone set this trap for her. But she goes anyway, being Diana. And she encounters a Minotaur. A half bull, half man guy called Ferdinand. And he's fighting these fish people. This is like the second time there's been fish people today. And trying to protect this young girl, Petra. A battle ensues, stuff happens, the fish people retreat, and then Wonder Woman, Ferdinand, and this girl, Petra, make their getaway. They're trying to flee from a villain called Clea, only to walk right into Clea, and she's not just Clea, she's Queen Clea. The art is wonderful in Absolute Wonder Woman. Enjoy the battle scenes. Wonder Woman epitomizes everything that is good and kind in my mind. I think it's fantastic. I love the use of the Greek mythology. I find myself Googling quite a lot of things after each issue. For example, I didn't know what a Minotaur was. I Googled half man, half bull. I know you have a Minotaur. And he lives, in the Greek mythology, he lives in a maze in the island of Crete, I think. That's not relevant. But Petra is a siren, which I didn't know what that was. Again, that's like a half woman, half bird thing. And again, when you find these things, talk about Greek gods, they've got Greek people. I think it's wonderful. Long may this continue. We're number 9. We're in the second story arc. Yeah, really enjoying Absolute Wonder Woman. Keeping the best till last, Martian Manhunter, which I think has now overtaken as my favourite Absolute book. I had Wonder Woman for a while, I had Batman for a while, I had Superman for a while, and that's Martian Manhunter's turn. Written by Dennis Camp, with art by Javier Rodriguez, I believe. So previously, the Martians appeared. John Johns, he's not the Martian, but he sees the Martian. He has this power where he can see, and he interprets people's thoughts, and he can see the Martians to help solve some crimes. And by the way, the thoughts are like portrayed on the pages, like colourful, like rainbows coming out of people's heads, green and red and all the rest of it, and there's smoke coming out of their ears, if they're pissed. So we're in this issue, we are in the grips of a heat wave. The White Martian has placed this sun with really overbearing, overwhelming heat. Temperatures are rising, people are losing their minds, they're losing their cool. There's fist fights, riots, and there's just an increase in crime. The Martian picks the sun and starts to play with the sun to work out what's wrong with the sun, type of thing. It's really strange. While John deals with all the chaos. The issue focuses very much on John and his wife. So ever since this happened, where John can now see the Martian, since he had these powers, these visions, he hasn't been a present husband. He hasn't been there for his wife, hasn't been there for the son. Massively distracted, as you would be. So this deals a lot of that with his wife Bridget questioning him and his love, and why you moved to this city, why we're here. You don't talk to us. You try to keep out of the house alone, and all the rest of it. Turns out the White Martian did not want the sun. He did not put the heat there. He wanted the chaos because he wanted darkness. There was a huge explosion at a nuclear, coal and gas plant, which obviously led the whole city to be in the darkness. So that's where it ends. Really intrigued to see what happens next. Really enjoyed this issue. It's one that I find myself having to go back to reread just to get a better grip, better understanding of it, but not in a bad way, like a really good, intriguing kind of way. The art, it's hard to describe to somebody, this art. You need to see it for yourself, because again, it's a bit crazy, a bit chaotic, but it totally works with the story. Like I say, the people have like cloud coming out of their ears if they're angry, all these different colours, kind of allow John and the Martian to see what's what and to solve these crimes. Yeah, this is a fantastic book. It's only a 12-issue maxi series apparently, and I already don't want it to end. I think it's fantastic. Get on it. And that concludes my review for the comic books that released June 25th this year. I'd hope to catch up a few other ones, but I couldn't get a copy of Assorted Crisis Events. There's something else I missed out on, but it is what it is. Still read a lot of books. Looking forward to next week. Really enjoyed making these videos. Again, thank you for allowing me to occupy your time, occupy your screens, and listen to my ramblings. And please, anything you've read here, you agree with my comments, totally disagree with my comments, anything you read this week that I haven't talked about, feel free to put in the comments below, and I'll go back to you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.